My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. The Ghana cedi could come under some pressure this week following the unexpected increase in inflation and the probability of an interest rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve. That's according to forecasts by some currency analysts. Here's more in this report.
The cedi lost marginally ground against the major trading currencies last week after the Ghana Statistical Service announced an unexpected increase in inflation to 42.2%. It closed the week with a 0.85% loss against the US dollar on the retail market, bringing its year-to-date loss to about 14%. This is despite an injection of $32 million by the Bank of Ghana into the spot market. This week, analysts expect an increase in demand for foreign exchange and limited foreign exchange interventions by the Bank of Ghana. However, failure by the cedi to stabilize against the dollar may push fuel prices up and consequently increase inflation.
That was a Business Desk report on the currency market this morning. The dollar going for 11 cedis 75 pesos on the forex or retail market. The pound going for 15 cedis and the euro selling at 12 cedis 75 pesos. Now, financial economist Dr. Sam Mensah has refuted assertions by President Akufo-Addo that international rating agencies are unfairly and recklessly downgrading sovereign nations, particularly Ghana, to crowd them out from the international capital market. According to him, rating agencies are reasonably neutral and objective with their outcomes. Hence, comments by the president will not deter them from doing their work. The chairman of SEM Group told Joy Business the president must be measured in his comments.
If that is the criticism, then I think it's probably not quite representative of how the rating agencies work, because as I said earlier, ratings agencies are monitoring the same indicators for all borrowers, including African countries. And therefore, they monitor and change their ratings according to what they are reading from these indicators. And mind you, there are quite a few African countries that have very good rating. For example, Botswana has an investment grade rating of BBB, which is quite high. So I think in general, the work of the rating agencies are reasonably neutral and very objective.
Financial economist and chairman of SEM Group, Dr. Sam Mensah. Now, economist Professor Lord Mensah has described plans to consolidate all government's funds into one account at the Bank of Ghana as a prudent move. Government, in a document to the International Monetary Fund, indicated plans to move all ministries, departments, and agencies' accounts as statutory funds to the Bank of Ghana by December this year. This is part of efforts to strictly enforce its Treasury single account policy. Professor Mensah says this will aid in the efficient use of resources and prudent management of government's funds.
I believe that once we have a single source, tracking of funds and inflows and using of funds can easily be determined by the state-owned institutions. Because if you look at the framework, MDAs and all those may have to tap into these accounts for their purposes. So from where I sit, I think it will be beneficial for the economy when you look at, tracking and all those. Because if you have different accounts sitting at different institutions and all those, it makes tracking difficult. And trust me, for prudent financial management, I don't think we can get there. Yeah, well, whether this year we'll be able to implement it or not, it's a program that is way back in our document, but getting it done has always been a problem. But now that we have IMF on us and being part of the conditions that we're supposed to meet to tap into the second tranche of this ECF program, I believe that we'll be able to do that.
Professor Lord Mensah is an economist. Another economist, Dr. Patrick Isumi, has urged government to ensure that the next round of the debt exchange program will not bring further burden to Ghanaians. He argues that Ghanaians have sacrificed enough for the domestic debt exchange program, and any attempt to involve citizens in the second round of the program will spell doom for the International Monetary Fund program. His comment coming at a time there are fears government may embark on another round of debt restructuring. But speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Isumi called on government to show some level of sacrifice.
The amount of sacrifices Ghanaians have made for us to get this IMF program are massive. We can't understand that. So the other thing is that, when the private holders met with the government and they, especially Senor Jose and his group, they came up with a lot of alternatives that the government can do that will bring a lot of savings. This is something that the finance ministry signed on, and the individual private bondholders also signed on. So if you're talking about an atmosphere of burden sharing, we want to see what actions have been done on those points. There were about 16 or so points, both on the revenue side and expenditure side. So we want to see if you have done the first round of domestic debt exchange, what have we done in terms of those aspects that will bring savings before we come and say that, let's do another round.
Dr. Patrick Esuming is an economist. Now, the Chamber of Mines has described some agreements and contracts signed by government as unhealthy and detrimental to the extractive sector. This, it says, is greatly affecting operations of members. According to Chief Executive Suleiman Okoni, there is a need for a discussion with government and other stakeholders to protect the sector and drive economic growth.
Security of agreements, sanctity of contracts that government signs with mining companies. We have a situation where companies have investment agreements which freezes their fiscal term. And then we have our country in dire straits. We all know this. And therefore you pass legislation which overrides the agreements that mining companies, oil and gas companies have with government or with the state. I think these are serious matters. Although we have issues with our economy, I think it's just proper that we have serious engagement with this company. That yes, we are in a bind. We want to get out of the hole. What can we do together within this period such that a company, a mining company or oil and gas company can be made whole going forward? Unfortunately, we are not having these conversations and the extractive sector climate is not healthy.
Suleiman Okoni, Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. In other news, the Soil Value Chain Association Ghana has called on the Legal Committee of Parliament to review the act governing the appointment of members of the Export Control Committee. The association says the Export Control Committee that it advocated for has been hijacked by actors who have no knowledge of the soybean industry. There's more in this report.
To the media at the Soya Value Chain Association consultative meeting in Tamale, organized by the association and funded by GIZ Ghana to engage farmers and input dealers on how the latter can supply inputs on a sustainable basis. The executive secretary of the association, Ya Afrifa, said the association is not happy with the activities of the committee.
The big challenge for us now is one, the Export Control Committee that we call for has been hijacked by actors. The chairman for the committee is the chief director for Ministry of Trade and Industry. As we have now, we have known the names of the committee, but we do not see faces. They have never called us for any interactions to know whether it should be extended or it should be lifted or not. All we hear is that government have extended it. In fact, last year we did a position paper on this, asking them for that change. We went to the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and they told us that, well, that what we are asking for is a legal issue, that it is only the Legal Committee of Parliament.
Yeah, FIFA Executive Secretary of the Soil Value Chain Association Ghana, and in that report filed by Martina Bugui. Now, the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat and the United Bank of Africa have signed an agreement to support small and medium enterprises in Africa with $6 billion to scale up and go into multinationals. Speaking to, according to Secretary General of the AFTA, Wamkele Meni, the SMEs will be provided with access to the global markets and capital to enable them grow.
I would also mention that, as you know, both by capitalization and presence in Africa, UBA is one of the largest banks in Africa and also has a presence in other parts of the world. That means that the SMEs that are supported by UBA will have access to global markets, to global capital markets, to the latest technology, as well as to the capital that, of course, that they will require.
Secretary General of AFTA Wamkele Meni there. Vodafone Ghana is partnering the Ghana Library Authority to provide internet service to library centers across the country. This is to support the agenda of promoting reading among students and easy access to online materials. Chief Executive of Vodafone Ghana, Patricia Bonai, spoke about the new initiative after opening the nationwide ICT Centers project in Kumasi.
So in partnership with the Ghana Library Authority, we have decided to bring together the devices, connect the internet to the devices so that people will have access to the internet, have access to content. So people can come here, go onto the internet for free, access educational content, and it will really, really enhance the learning experience of the children. And for Vodafone, we believe in digitization, we believe in education. So coming together in such a partnership